world is not stupid. Ain't nobody believe that she's his coach. She's his wife.
How can she be possibly a good coach? You tell me.
What's up, Desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another bodybuilding news video, and we have several topics to discuss today, including stuff from Derek Lunsford, Hadi Choopan, and Samson Dauda, your top 3 from last year's 2023 Mr Olympia, and 3 of the favourites coming into the 2024 Mr Olympia. And we've got news on all these guys, so let's kick it off with Samson Dauda. And I sort of hate to go back to it, but I feel like with some of the comments that were made, it is necessary. Samson Dauda, Milos Sarcev, but mostly what we're going to discuss is who is really coaching Samson Dauda. It's come out that Marlena, Mel, is Samson Dauda's coach, which is his wife as well, for those who don't know and have been living under a rock or just don't follow bodybuilding, I guess. So that's been sort of the thing that they've been going with. Obviously, of late, he did go out to Oxygen Gym for a period of time. That didn't work out, so Marlena, his wife, is prepping Samson Dauda as far as we know. But on the latest episode of the Menace Podcast, where it often leads back to, there are a few things said. So let's listen in to what Milos Sarcev, Dennis James, and also Chris Cormier was on there as well, but he didn't say too much on the topic. But let's listen to what DJ and Milos had to say.
I sent you guys comments about coaching of the female coach that can be coming into the history of bodybuilding, getting a first Olympia title, Samson's wife.
Really understand.
I don't know, but there was a bunch of people who were sending me this with all these comments and all this stuff.
What is it exactly? Is she?
I mean, she's going to be coaching Samson. And Samson has a legitimate chance of winning. So she would be the first female coach that has Mr. Olympia title. Right?
Oh.
Well, so, but if too much anyways. But if she's his coach and she's so great, why did he hire Milos and John Meadows? And why hire other people if you have a coach that's great?
So 2 things. I believe that to be true. I don't know of any other female coaching an open men's Mr. Olympia competitor to a Mr. Olympia win. I do know Steve Kuklo was famously coached by a female coach. I believe there's been a few others along the way as well, but generally male open bodybuilders are prepped by male coaches. It makes sense because obviously they do go on to mention the pharmacological side, all that sort of stuff. So typically males prep males in general, but this is obviously a general rule. Now, why would they search for people outside of, using Mel? Because if she's such a great coach, like they said, why wouldn't they use her ongoing? Now, I believe it's because Mel actually even got Samson into bodybuilding full stop. So Mel coached him from the get-go. She's sort of been along for the journey, and, they want to get outside perspectives. Is there a secret to getting to the next level? And I think maybe they've realized through going through so many coaches, they've learned a lot of things, I'm sure, along the way through John Meadows, Milos Sarcev, other coaches. But now that they sort of have that information, maybe they feel like, because Mel was coaching him in the first place, maybe there's no secret source. Maybe they feel like they can just do it themselves. But anyway, let's listen on.
I'm getting a lot of those messages, so I have to respond every so often. So first, how can she be possibly a good coach? You tell me. Female competitor, I don't even know which the division that she competed, bikini or whichever class, that got in shape once in her life. There's usually not in shape.
Was it one show?
What?
Was it exactly one show, or was it?
I don't know, but it looks like like female competitor that maybe can get female in the shape, and I don't think she even got herself in any great shape. Any like fantastic shape. Let's talk about it.
I feel like Milos, I get on well with Milos, but I feel like he's taking digs here. Like, how could she possibly be a good coach? I'm like, yes, she's a female. Yes, she's not going to understand the pharmacological side in terms of actual personal experience and using male hormones in a male body. That's for sure. But there's coaches out there that have not competed, full stop, that we consider to be good coaches. I don't know if Andrew Vu's competed. He's a phenomenal coach from his results that he puts out with his clients. He works with top Olympia competitors and open pro bodybuilders as well. So there's people like that. Honey Rambod, he's not in phenomenal shape right now. So I don't know why Milos would take that dig at Mel specifically. But anyway, let's listen on.
So now she's going to coach man, okay? And then she's going to coach man that goes to the top of the Olympia.
Maybe they're just
they're
just saying it to make it look like
But,
it.
yeah.
I don't think there's
I
anybody.
think what you need, diet has to be completely different diet. Training is supposed to be completely different, right? Pharmacological substances they're going to use, you have to become an expert, know personal experience, know some science, what to recommend, right?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, Matt, before, pharmacological side is definitely one part of it. Obviously, we know open pro bodybuilders obviously have to use stuff, and they can't just use a replacement dose plus, 1 mil of something else. They're using a little bit more than that for sure. So how could she have the personal experience with that? Now, Samson Dauda, I do want to sort of fast forward a little bit. He put up this post here just the other day, and it says Merrick Health, and then it's got a coach down the bottom, has his Instagram handle, and says Morsome, and then it's also got Marlena there as well, and you can see that stage shot of her there too, and she looked in phenomenal shape, and she definitely wasn't in bikini, as Milos said earlier. And Samson said, there's nothing like having an amazing team behind you. Best I've ever been, and by far the best I've ever felt in a prep. And then he tags in Morsome, Marlena, and Merrick Health. And Merrick Health, for those who don't know as well, I believe it's the company that's owned by More Plates, More Dates, Derek from there. And it's a hormone replacement clinic, so they can help out with, prescribing testosterone and whatever else they can prescribe. I don't know what it is in the US or in Canada or in, the UK, which is where Samson is right now. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what they sort of deal in. And he's one of the coaches from Merrick Health as well. His name's Michael Warner, and he's been working with Samson along with Marlena as well. So I reached out to Samson, and as far as the diet and all that sort of stuff, he said Marlena does everything. So it's not like that this guy's doing it and Marlena's taking the credit. He helps out obviously in terms of the prep, but Marlena, I believe, has the final say. I assume her and Samson and whatever. I believe they have the final say in terms of Samson's prep. But anyway, let's listen on.
Milos, listen. I tell you, the whole world is not stupid. Ain't nobody believe that she's his coach. She's his wife. He's not a coach. We all know that. Maybe they just want to kickstart a side hustle for her.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is they can say whatever they want to say. At the end of the day, we know she's not coaching him. She's his wife. I was a bodybuilder. I had a wife. She looked at me. She told me if she likes me or not. So I didn't say so she's my coach. They see things that you don't ever see. But that doesn't mean that she's going to tell you how much fucking test to use and how much to use of this. There's no fucking way. So don't tell me this bullshit. She's my coach. You know what I'm saying? She's your wife. She cooks for you. She takes care of you. She's on your team. Without her, he might not be where he's at. And I give him that, 100%.
So Samson has hit back at that online. So Samson doesn't listen to this bodybuilding media side of stuff. He just literally just stays away from listening to any bodybuilding stuff, especially while he preps. I don't know about off season, but I know while he preps, Samson is not listening to this stuff. So Samson posted up this and says, coached by his wife. Pretty impressive training video as well, looking insane in the gym right now. So whatever Samson is doing in terms of his 2024 Olympia prep, it appears to be working. And, I even suggested maybe Samson should just take this Olympia off, skip it, just focus on maybe the Arnold or the Olympia next year and just really focus in on that, give his body some sort of a rest. But Samson just always has that bounce back ability with his physique, and he's looking great by his recent physique updates. And this one was just posted hours ago now. And from the back, that's where Samson is posting most of his updates. And you can see that detail in the hamstrings once he sits on them perfectly, which he doesn't do all the time. He's always got to make sure that they're sucked in from the back, because that's what the judges are going to be looking for. And if they're harder than they normally are, then that's going to put him in a really, really good position to maybe climb up at the 2024 Mr Olympia, which is going to be no easy feat, especially with who's coming this year to this contest. But one more part I wanted to play from this Menace podcast with Dennis James, with Milos Sarcev. And also, I just want to say, I was surprised by what Dennis James said in terms of nobody really believes that she's coaching him. I believe it. I believe it 100% because I have personal experience with Samson and Marlena, and previously she was 100% coaching him. She was actually the main coach. at certain stages, and she's worked with other people. And, you know, like Milos said at some stage in this interview, in this podcast, he said that, you know, he speaks with Marlena, and, you know, she goes like, knows the food and all that sort of stuff, implying that she's got the game plan from him and they're going to follow it. And I'm sure at some point that they do follow some of that sort of game plan. And from reaching out to Samson, because I did reach out to Samson in this, I reached out to Milos as well. I didn't get a direct comment from Milos on it, but Samson basically just said he enjoyed the time working with Milos, and, you know, just sort of spoke very positively of the whole experience, but he chooses not to speak, you know, sort of further on it. And I don't think he wants to get into the dirt of anything that's been happening. But anyway, let's listen on and let's listen to what else Milos has to say.
You mentioned Milos. Okay, so let's just choose Milos and Samson. Why don't we see Samson with a sucked-in face?
Because he would not do fish, veggies, and egg whites and cardio.
Yeah. So it's not the coaches.
I mean, listen, it's all these kind of compromises all the time, right? Dennis, you were one of those that you say, tell me how many raisins so I can count to put them in my oatmeal, right?
Yeah.
I think definitely comments like this is going to make people think that Samson isn't as locked in and as dedicated. Now, I don't know that to be the case of Samson. Now, behind the scenes, he did say about someone who's prepping, who I assume he was talking about Samson, that when he was around him, or he said to him that, I just had a Gatorade, but had like 40 grams of carbs in it. And he's like, well, how many other Gatorades are you having? Now, I don't know if he was referring to Samson. I don't know why he would do that. If I had a client that just said, I just had a Gatorade and there's no reason behind it, unless I was going hypo or something, I would be like, whoa, that would freak me out as well. But I don't know if that is Samson. I don't know if that's the case with another client, or if he's just using that as an example. But yeah, if Samson was doing that and regularly having more carbs and stuff that was off the plan or something, then I would say something. But I don't know Samson to be that guy, because I actually sort of worked a little bit with Samson and Marlena before he hooked up with John Meadows and things like that. And that never happened. That was never an experience. It was very much that he was locked in. He was doing everything 100%. That, you know, they were very invested. Me, Mel, and he spoke a lot about the different things he's doing. And, you know, he was locked in, and he took things from, you know, I'm assuming other coaches and his personal experience and trying to do what was best for him. And Mel was a huge part of that. So anyway, I just wanted to have my say on that, because I reached out to Samson personally, I reached out to Milos, and I tried to get a sense of what is going on, and who knows, I hope this thing sort of ends. And Dennis James and Milos were very, very complimentary as well, I will say, of Samson's physique, but there were a few things brought up there in terms of maybe how dedicated Samson is, and also that Mel isn't actually even coaching Samson, which I do actually believe to be the case. But anyway, let's move on. Now, Derek Lunsford has been posting up regular videos. He's really, really great, him and his team, with his content going up. He is the current Mr Olympia, the reigning Mr Olympia, but I don't even know if he's going in as the favourite. I'm going to make a video sort of averaging out everyone in the industry's picks for this 2024 Mr Olympia and find out what the consensus selections are. Like, you know, is an average finishing position of this person, when you take everyone's picks, like, you know, 2.1 or something like that, and is that the favourite? I'm going to work it all out anyway. I'm going to take the picks from, you know, the Menace Podcast, Fuad's Podcast, RX Muscle, all of them, Muscle Discord, and get everyone's picks and then just average them all out. But anyway, Derek Lunsford is looking ridiculous as always. I think for Derek, it will come down to how much detail he has through his shoulders, his arms, and his chest. From the back, he's fine. From the side, he's actually really, really good as well. In general, I think the side chest was pretty damn good last time. I think we'd like to see a little bit more fullness in that chest from the side. And if that was a little bit fuller, it would come across as being a bit harder as well. But he does the posing and all that sort of stuff through his training to try to bring out more of that conditioning too. So he's doing all the things right that he can to try to bring in that conditioning. Because in those body parts, the conditioning level is very different there. And I suppose just the detail in general compared to the back. The back side is conditioned like crazy. The front side, not as much, but he does have the crazy taper, which actually led him to maybe winning shots against Hadi last year, like the front double, like the front lat spread. A lot of people debated those poses, but I thought Derek, especially in the front double, maybe not so much for front lat, I thought he's very, very comparable. But Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Should Derek Lunsford be the favourite for the 2024 Mr. Olympia? Are we overlooking him? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. And before we move on to our story about Hadi Choopan, I want to highlight Derek Lunsford's training partner, Matt Grego, who's a classic physique pro, has won pro contests and is looking fantastic during his prep. And I've got to imagine that he's going to climb the ranks quickly, training with the likes of, the current open Mr. Olympia. And Matt Grego is one of those really good guys, works with Chris Aceto, and he's looking fantastic in his prep as well. So I want to say shout out to Matt Grego as well. He posted that up just recently. Now moving on to Hadi Choopan, your one-time Mr. Olympia, a man who's trying to come in and regain his Mr. Olympia title, which is very, very rarely done. He has landed. He is in the USA. You can see him here with Hani Rambod. I went full investigation mode and put these videos next to each other. One posted by Hadi, one posted by Hani. I was trying to get the exclusive on Hadi being in the US, but Hani Rambod just had to ruin it and had to do some sort of a post standing together, of course. But I love to see it, and Hadi is looking really, really, really damn good in this physique update here. Now you can see Hani gets very confusing going between Hani and Hadi, but Hani, his coach, you can see he's pulling those faces. Now there were photos being taken when you do have the volume up as well, so this was for a photo shoot and they just had some video going at the same time. But here's some other recent updates you can see of Hadi Choopan. I'm going to say Hani, and his back is looking, I'd say, a little soft. That's the one area where there is concern for me for Hadi Choopan in terms of conditioning. But I think come Olympia time, I don't know why my voice went like that, I think his back will be in good enough condition to battle Derek Lunsford. But will he be good enough to actually beat out Derek Lunsford? And then he's got to have guys to worry about like Nick Walker, Samson, Dauda, Andrew Jacked, plenty of other really, really good names, and guys that are really improving as well, like Hunter Labrada. We'll have an update in the next video of him as well. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Let me know how you think these three guys will place at the 2024 Mr. Olympia. Who will be first, second, and third? Or do you have one of those guys dropping out of the top three? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this one. Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.